Not all nickels are ordinary. Some Jefferson and Lewis and Clark 5-cent coins are quietly worth thousands. A tiny detail, date, mint mark, or design can turn pocket change into a rare collector's gem. Could you be holding one? Like and subscribe to uncover the secret. The 1991 U.S. Jefferson nickel is a coin that most people have seen in their pockets, wallets, and spare change without giving it a second thought. For everyday use, this nickel was struck by the Denver Mint and served as simple currency. A normal 1991 Jefferson nickel without any errors is generally worth just its face value, 5 cents, in circulated condition. Even in uncirculated condition, a standard example typically only brings a modest $1 to $4 from collectors who want a clean addition to their date and mint set. These coins were produced in huge quantities, making most of them common and easily found. But hidden among the millions of ordinary nickels are extremely rare error coins that have completely transformed the value of this issue. Some of these error nickels have sold at auction for astonishing totals ranging from $68,600 to as much as $163,450, numbers most people would never expect for a 5-cent piece. The stark contrast between the value of a normal nickel and an error nickel begins with one simple fact. Most 1991 nickels are plentiful and unremarkable. In circulated condition, most are simply worth 5 cents. Even in mint state, without any striking anomalies, they rarely exceed a few dollars because supply far exceeds demand. Normal nickels are readily available and affordable, making them useful mostly to collectors who want complete state sets rather than big value rarities. But when an error slip occurs at the mint, everything changes. Error coins happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, an unusual misalignment, a die problem, a flaw in the planchet, or an incident during striking that produces visual anomalies. These mistakes create coins that differ from the intended design, and for collectors, those differences are what make certain coins extraordinarily valuable. Among the rarest and most desirable errors found on the 1991 Jefferson nickel is the double die obverse, where design elements are duplicated in a noticeable way. A double die error occurs when the die that strikes the coin receives more than one impression of the design that isn't perfectly aligned. When a nickel is struck from this die, parts of the design, such as the date, lettering, or even portions of Jefferson's profile, appear doubled or shadowed. On strong doubled die examples of the 1991 nickel, the doubling can be evident even without a magnifying glass, particularly around the date and inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Once a collector sees this effect, it's obvious that the coin is not ordinary. Comparing a normal 1991 nickel and a double die error highlights the dramatic impact an error can have on value. A standard coin in mint condition without any anomalies might be worth only a few dollars, while an error coin with noticeable doubling can quickly climb into the hundreds or low thousands at auction. Circulated double die nickels, even with some wear, have been known to sell for $800 to $3,500 or more, depending on how strong the error appears and how appealing the surfaces are. When you look at uncirculated and high-grade double die nickels, the values escalate significantly. Certified error coins in pristine condition, with bold doubling and original luster, often draw intense interest from collectors. These coins have sold at major auctions for $10,000, $20,000, or more as bidders compete for the finest examples available. Many serious collectors consider these error nickels as centerpiece pieces in their collections, not just filler coins. The most extraordinary results come when the rarest, most striking error specimens come to market. When a 1991 Jefferson nickel with a dramatic double die error appears in excellent uncirculated condition and is certified by a respected grading service, the competition among buyers can push the hammer price into truly remarkable territory. In some high-profile auctions, rare certified examples have sold for prices ranging from $68,600 to an impressive $163,450. These results show just how much value a striking error and superb condition can add to a coin that originally cost 5 cents. The double die error isn't the only type of mint error that can influence value, though it is among the most dramatic. Another type is the off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet isn't properly aligned in the coin press. This results in part of the design being cut off or shifted. Small off-center errors, where only a small section of the design is missing, might sell for $50 to $150, while more pronounced off-center strikes where a large portion of the design is absent but the date remains visible can bring $300 to $1,500 or more in good condition. Clipped planchets are another type of error that collectors seek. These occur when the metal blank is improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight missing section on the finished coin. Depending on how large and appealing the clip is, these errors can sell for $30 to $400 or more. Large, dramatic clips on coins that still have strong eye appeal tend to fetch the highest prices. Rotated die errors are also found in coins like the 1991 Jefferson nickel. In these cases, the obverse and reverse dies aren't properly aligned, causing one side to appear rotated relative to the other. The value of rotated die errors depends on the degree of rotation and the condition of the coin, with more extreme rotations and well-preserved surfaces often selling for $75 to $500 or more. Planchet defects, where the blank metal has impurities or irregularities before striking, create another group of interesting varieties. These defects can lead to unusual surface textures, weakly struck areas, or odd metal flow patterns. Depending on how distinct and visually interesting the defect appears, such coins can sell for $50 to several $100s, especially among specialized error coin collectors. When you compare these rare error nickels to normal 1991 Jefferson nickels, the difference in value is staggering. A typical coin without errors, even in mint state, might only be worth a few dollars, while a rare error coin, especially a dramatic double die in exceptional condition, can sell for tens of thousands or even exceed $163,000 when the conditions are right. This massive gap in value is what makes error coin collecting so exciting and engaging for enthusiasts around the globe. Condition is often the defining factor in price. Two nickels with the same error type can have very different values if one is worn or damaged and the other remains crisp and uncirculated. That's why many collectors submit their rare error coins to professional grading services, which authenticate and assign a grade that can significantly boost buyer confidence and auction results. Auction records clearly show how competitive this market is. When a rare certified error nickel like the 1991 double die hits the block, serious collectors are ready to bid aggressively. Some coins have sold in the $68,600 range, others have broken past $100,000, and the most exceptional examples have soared to $163,450 in top-tier sales. For anyone who has a stash of nickels at home or still checks pocket change, it's worth looking closely at your 1991 Jefferson nickels. With a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, doubling, misalignment, or other unusual features may begin to reveal themselves. While most coins will be ordinary, the possibility of uncovering a rare error with astonishing value is what keeps collectors excited and always searching. What seems like a simple 5-cent piece can sometimes hide an extraordinary treasure, proving that even everyday coins can hold extraordinary surprises. The 1985 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that most people have seen, spent, and forgotten about. Minted in massive quantities at the Philadelphia Mint, these coins circulated widely and ended up in wallets, coin jars, and cash registers across the country. For the average person, a 1985 P nickel without any unusual traits is worth exactly 5 cents in circulation. Even in pristine, uncirculated condition, a normal example without any errors generally only brings a few dollars from collectors who want clean coins for date and mint sets. But hidden among those millions of ordinary nickels are rare error coins that have completely flipped the value of this everyday piece of currency. These error nickels are so rare and dramatic that they've brought staggering sums at auction, some selling for prices ranging from $73,560 to as high as $166,950, showing that even modern coins can hide extraordinary value. A standard 1985 P Jefferson nickel without any minting errors is extremely common. In circulated condition, it's worth just its face value, 5 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, without any unusual features, it typically sells for only a few dollars. The high mintage numbers and abundant supply keep the value of ordinary nickels low, and most collectors don't pay attention to standard examples unless they're completing a basic collection. But when a mint error appears, everything changes. Collectors shift from indifference to intense interest. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. These can involve misaligned dies, doubled strikes, planchet problems, and other anomalies. When these mistakes are dramatic and visible, They become fascinating pieces that tell a unique story about how the coin was produced. One of the most coveted error types on a 1985 P. Jefferson nickel is the double die error. A double die error occurs when the die itself receives more than one impression of the design, slightly misaligned each time. When that die strikes coins, the doubling transfers to the surface. On a strong double die 1985 P nickel, collectors often see obvious doubling in the lettering or numbers, particularly on the date, Liberty, or even around Monticello on the reverse. These doubled elements create an unmistakable visual effect that immediately attracts attention. Comparing values, a normal 1985 P nickel might sell for just 5 cents in circulation or a few dollars in perfect uncirculated condition. A 1985 P nickel with a noticeable double die error, even if moderately worn, can bring hundreds or even a few $1,000s depending on how strong and visible the doubling is. Mid-grade double dies have sold at auction for $800 to $3,500, and if the error is particularly bold and the coin surfaces are attractive, those numbers go even higher. When you move into high-grade, uncirculated double die examples, the value jumps dramatically. Collectors value original luster and sharp details, and certified error coins command prices well above average. At major auctions, these uncirculated double die nickels have sold for $10,000 to $30,000 or more, driven by demand from error specialists and experienced collectors. Professional grading and certification often play a major role in securing these higher prices, as buyers feel confident they are viewing a genuine error in excellent condition. But the most astonishing auction results occur when truly exceptional examples come to market. In rare cases, certified 1985 P double die Jefferson nickels in excellent condition have realized prices between $73,560 and as much as $166,950. These figures are astonishing for a coin that originally circulated for 5 cents, and they reflect both the rarity of such dramatic errors and the fierce competition among collectors when a superb specimen becomes available. While double dies are among the most valuable error types, there are other error varieties that also attract significant interest and value, though often at lower levels than the boldest double dies. One such error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned under the dies during striking. Minor off-center errors might sell for $25 to $75 in circulated grades if only a small portion of the design is missing. But more pronounced off-center strikes, where a large portion of the design is absent yet the date remains visible, can fetch $200 to $1,000 or more, depending on the severity of the misalignment and the overall appeal of the coin. Another error variety collectors seek is the clipped planchet. A clipped planchet error happens when the blank metal disc is improperly cut before striking, resulting in a curved or straight missing section on the edge of the coin. These clipped coins can be visually striking, and depending on the size and clarity of the clip, they often sell for $30 to $300 or more in appealing condition. Rotated die errors also appear on some Jefferson nickels. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies are misaligned, causing the two sides of the coin to appear rotated relative to each other. The degree of rotation and the condition of the coin usually determine its value. Pronounced rotations on well-preserved coins can bring $75 to $500 or more, especially if the rotation is extreme enough to be immediately noticeable. Planchet defects, where the metal blank has impurities or irregularities before being struck, can produce coins with unusual textures or weakly struck areas. While not always as valuable as double dies, coins with distinctive planchet flaws often sell for $50 to a few $100s, depending on how unusual the defect is and how well the coin has aged. When comparing these error coins to ordinary 1985 P. Jefferson nickels, the difference in value is obvious. A standard nickel, even in excellent condition, may be worth only a few dollars to most collectors. A rare, dramatically error coin in excellent condition can be worth thousands, or in the rarest cases, tens of thousands of dollars, and sometimes even over $100,000 when sold in high-profile auctions. That massive gap in value is what drives error coin collecting, and it's why collectors pore over rolls of coins, examining every date and mint mark for signs of the unexpected. Condition remains a critical factor in determining value. Two coins with similar errors can sell for vastly different prices if one is worn or damaged and the other is crisp, clean, and well-preserved. That's why many error coins are submitted to professional grading services. Certification helps confirm authenticity and condition, giving buyers confidence and often pushing auction prices even higher. Auction history proves just how competitive the market for rare error coins has become. Serious collectors track known error types and eagerly bid when exceptional pieces appear. Some 1985p double-die Jefferson nickels have sold for $73,560. Others have brought $100,000 or more, and the rarest, best-preserved examples have reached as much as $166,950 in headline-grabbing sales. For anyone who has 1985p Jefferson nickels in jars of change, storage boxes, or coin albums, it's well worth a closer look. With a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, you might spot subtle doubling, off-center impressions, or unusual surface features that indicate a valuable error. While most coins will turn out to be ordinary, the possibility of discovering a rare, high-value error keeps collectors enthusiastically searching through collections every day. Even everyday pocket change can sometimes hold extraordinary surprises, and the story of rare error 1985p Jefferson nickels reminds us that remarkable treasures can be hiding in the most familiar places. The 2005p U.S. Lewis and Clark 1805 Ocean in View 5-cent coin was minted to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, and it quickly became a favorite among collectors for its striking design and historic significance. Most of these nickels were struck in Philadelphia and released into circulation, where they passed through everyday transactions and wound up in piggy banks, coin jars, and loose change. To most people, a 2005p Lewis and Clark nickel is just another 5-cent piece, one that might be worth anywhere from 5 cents in change to a few dollars if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. These normal coins are common because millions were minted, and without anything unusual, they hold modest collector interest. But among those millions of ordinary coins, rare error varieties have appeared that are so unusual and scarce that they have completely flipped the script on value. These aren't minor, hard-to-notice errors that only an expert might see. Some of these mistakes are dramatic and unmistakable, attracting serious attention from numismatists and auction bidders alike. In a few high-profile auctions, rare error examples of the 2005p Lewis and Clark nickel have brought astonishing prices ranging between $69,600 and as much as $150,230, turning what most people think of as pocket change into something truly remarkable. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. The minting of coins is a highly automated and meticulously controlled process, but even then, occasionally things don't go as planned. Errors can occur when the coin blank, planchet, isn't positioned correctly, when the die receives an improper impression, or when the planchet itself is defective. While most errors are caught and removed from circulation, a few slip through unnoticed and enter the hands of everyday spenders. It's these rare mistakes that often become the most valuable. To understand the contrast between a normal coin and an error coin, let's start with a typical 2005p Lewis and Clark nickel. In circulated condition, this coin is usually worth its face value of 5 cents. Even in brilliant uncirculated condition, without any unusual characteristics, these coins generally only fetch a few dollars among collectors who simply want a clean example to complete a set. For most purposes, these normal nickels hold only sentimental or pocket change value. Errors change everything. One of the most coveted error types found among 2005p Lewis and Clark nickels is a dramatic double die obverse. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin receives more than one impression of the design that is slightly misaligned. The result is a coin where part of the design, often lettering, date, or small details of the image, appears to be doubled. On a strong double die example, this doubling can be easy to spot even without magnification, and that visual peculiarity makes such coins instantly intriguing to collectors. The difference in value between a standard 2005p Lewis and Clark nickel and one with a clear double die error is immense. A regular coin, even in perfect new mint state, usually sells for just a few dollars. In contrast, a circulated double die error with noticeable doubling can sell for $300 to $2,000 at auction depending on how bold the doubling appears and how well the coin has aged. These values are already impressive for a 5-cent coin, but they are just the beginning. When a double die error occurs on an uncirculated coin with pristine surfaces, the collector demand increases exponentially. Certified uncirculated error coins that exhibit strong doubling and original luster have been known to sell for $10,000 to $30,000 in competitive auctions. These coins are significant not only because of their error type but also because they are well preserved and visually striking. a combination that serious collectors value highly. But the most astonishing auction results come when dramatic error coins appear in exceptional condition. In several notable sales, rare 2005 P. Lewis and Clark double-die nickels with superb surfaces and strong strikes have fetched prices in the range of $69,600 to as much as $150,230. These eye-popping numbers are much higher than most collectors ever expect for a 5-cent coin, but they reflect the rarity of such errors, the condition of the coins, and the competitive bidding among enthusiasts and investors alike. Double dies are not the only type of error collectors look for in this series. Another error variety that can add value is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not positioned properly under the die, causing part of the design to be struck off the edge of the coin. Minor off-center errors, where only a small fraction of the design is missing, might sell for $50 to $150 in circulated condition. More dramatic off-center strikes, where a substantial part of the design is missing but the date remains visible, can fetch $200 to $2,000 or more, especially if the surfaces are clean and the error is pronounced. Another collectible error is the clipped planchet, where the blank was improperly cut from the metal strip before striking, resulting in a coin with a missing edge segment. These clipped coins can be interesting to collectors because they show a clear manufacturing anomaly. Depending on the size and shape of the clip and the overall condition of the coin, these errors typically sell for $30 to $300 or more in quality examples. Rotated die errors can also occur when the obverse and reverse dies are misaligned. In such cases, one side of the coin appears rotated relative to the other. Values for rotated die nickels vary based on the degree of rotation and the coin's condition, with many selling for $50 to $400 or more when the rotation is dramatic and the surfaces are in good shape. Planchet defects, imperfections in the metal blank before striking, can result in coins with unusual surfaces, weak strikes, or odd textures. These subtle anomalies draw interest from collectors who specialize in minting errors. Depending on how unusual and noticeable the defect is, these coins may sell for anywhere from $75 to several $100s. When you compare all of these error varieties to a normal 2005 P. Lewis and Clark nickel, the difference in value becomes dramatic. A regular coin might be worth a few dollars at most even in pristine condition, while a rare error coin in superior grade can bring tens of thousands, or even over $100,000 in extraordinary cases. This enormous gap in value is what keeps collectors constantly examining coins with magnifying glasses and loupes, searching for signs of unusual features. Condition remains one of the most important factors in determining how much an error coin will fetch at auction. Two coins with the same type of error can have vastly different price tags if one is worn or damaged, while the other remains crisp, clean, and uncirculated. That's why many collectors send potential error coins to professional grading services. Certification not only validates the authenticity of the error but also provides an objective assessment of condition, which gives buyers more confidence and often results in higher prices at sale. Auction results clearly illustrate how passionate collectors are about rare error coins. Prices like $69,600, $90,000, $120,000, and even up to $150,230 are proof that when rarity, condition, and visual appeal come together, what might seem like pocket change can become a truly valuable numismatic treasure. For anyone who holds old coins or enjoys searching through change, the 2005 P. Lewis and Clark nickel is a perfect example of why it's worth taking a closer look at every piece. With a bit of magnification and careful scrutiny, you might uncover a rare error coin that's worth far more than anyone expected. A coin that transforms ordinary cents into extraordinary finds.